new vision into a controlled performance, and this is the Vietnam War protest at Columbia University in 1968.
I love you too, son. But I also love our country and the principles for which we stand. And if you decide to burn your draft card, then burn your birth certificate at the same time. From that moment on, I have no son.
Amen to that. Anyone who burns their draft card doesn't belong in this country. This is America. Love it or leave it. I'm not about to sit idly by while a bunch of snot-nosed, overprivileged brats run around and demand change. I am sick and tired of these kids thinking, expecting that they're entitled to something. And you know what I'm sick and tired of? Chaos. These kids think they're doing these great, heroic, revolutionary acts. Really, all they're doing is waking me up in the middle of every night to police sirens and chanting. These kids act like we don't have enough to deal with. The war in Vietnam isn't going great. We all know that. It seemed like everything was looking up, and after the raid in the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, it suddenly feels like everything turned around. And now it's become the bloodiest year of the war so far. And all these damn hippies have to show for their country our flower chains and finger paintings, and I am sick of it. When my husband came home from deployment, these liberal degenerates spit on him and called him a baby murderer. My husband, the hero that protected their very rights to protest, who proudly served and protected his country, is now the bad guy? What kind of a world is this?
Boom, boom, beep, beep, boom, gower, flower, flower, boom, boom, beep, beep, boom, gower, flower, flower. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Do not enter induction center. Do not enter induction center.
I don't understand why our government has us fight the war. Are they incredibly evil men? Are they insane? Or are they stupid? How can Johnson sleep? How can he go to bed knowing that 25,000 of his American men and countless Vietnamese are dying because of his policies? He obviously doesn't consider those Vietnamese people at all. Doesn't he know that wars can't go well and people always die, and that's not well? Doesn't he know anything? Do statistics hide the truth and keep him from feeling? When I see statistics, I practically throw up. It's in me every day that my friends hear gunshot and fall and hate the enemy. And when they see the world spin up at them and feel the wetness of their own blood, these kids who were being and were going to be suddenly find that they will not be what they wanted nor anything else, suddenly find themselves ending. And my parents don't care. They don't react. Why should they? As long as there's money in their pockets and a side of the fight to root for, why should they reform? This worked for our ancestors, so it should work for us. That's it. I have to bring my draft card. How can they expect to lie to us and then demand we give them our lives? Leave me and my friends alone and get somebody else to fight your goddamn wars.
We call on all students, faculty, staff, and workers of the university to support our strike. We have taken the power away from an irresponsible and illegitimate administration.
Could you please shut that window?
Who call themselves trustees of this university.
Thank you. Well, it appears our resident hippies here at Columbia have struck again. Yesterday at noon, the Students for a Democratic Society held a rally at the Sundial, led by the one and only college revolutionary Mark Rudd. Yes, well, apparently they're protesting our multiple ties to the Institute for Defense Analysis, our positive influence on Vietnam War research, and the new segregated gym that is being built in Morningside Park. Yes, around 800 of them marched right down to the construction site and tried to rip down the chain link fence surrounding, and 2 hours later went back to the school and took control of the Hamilton building. The black students are still there, protesting the segregated gym, but the white Students for Democratic Society have moved to the Low Library to protest our IDA and our war relations, and they're sitting in President Kirk's office as we speak. They plan to sit in all week until we reform and listen to their ideas. Okay, we have to react carefully. They have already caused classes to be canceled and riots to ensue. I say we compromise with the black students and reform the gym, so we let them use the front door. As for the white students, I say we send in the police to break them up, see how long they last. And don't worry about getting backlash for our actions. I read that 95% of Americans our age agree with us and hate these hippies. If we put them in their place, we'll be heroes.
L-E-J to the I-R-T, down to Floor Street, USA. When he got there, what did he see? The youth of America on LSD.
I am human being number 134159. Police, move forward. Get ahead. Get good grades. Work. Prosper. Get ahead. Fight. Shoot. Kill. Murder. Get ahead. That one's my favorite. Yesterday we went over the entire campus protesting and pretending to be ROTC recruiters from the IDA. You know, I usually wouldn't let anyone in here to interview me except for the school newspaper, but I have to get the word out somehow. The other newspapers are lying about us. New York Times, they're liars. The chaos in the buildings, it's all a lie. And you know what we have proved so far? That 5 students in a mimeograph machine can do more harm to the university than an army ever could. Before, they didn't listen to us. They never heard what we had to say. We protested, we rallied, we created the Students for Democratic Society. I even stood up during a speech and called the vice president of our university a fraud. But we have to get the word out somehow. I mean, once we get people to understand what's really happening, they'll oppose the war. They have to. I mean, we're starting something here that's huge. I believe this revolution will stop the war. It has to. The draft is preposterous, and the fact that our own college is supporting it is even worse. And do they think just because we're young we'll give up? Right now, we are occupying 5 buildings. Right now, more than 700 students have been arrested in the first busts. A revolution is happening. A revolution has happened. In every room, on every street post, in every hallway, a revolution has happened. Vietnam is being fought on 2 war fronts. This, here. But it didn't have to be war. We know what's right and we just want our reforms, but the administration had to send in the jocks, and they sit outside with their baseball bats waiting to cream us. They've turned their own students against each other. Why? Because they can. This has turned into a goddamn police state. But right here and now, we're taking away their power. We're taking away their power and waiting for them to react. And I don't care if we have to shut down the entire school. I myself will personally sit in President Kirk's office until he listens to our 6 demands and why we strike. 1. Disciplinary actions against the 6 originally charged must be lifted and no reprisals taken against anyone in this demonstration. 2. Construction of the Columbia Gym on Harlem land must stop now. 3. The university must use its good offices to see that all charges against a person arrested at the gym site be dropped. 4. All relations with the IDA must be severed, including President Kirk's and Trustee William Burden's membership on the executive board. 5. President Kirk's edict on indoor demonstrations must be dropped. And 6. All judicial decisions should be made in an open hearing with due process judged by a bi-party committee of students and faculty. And please quote me exactly on this because I want to make sure it gets directly to President Kirk. We, the young people, whom you so rightfully fear, say that society is sick, and you and your capitalism are the sickness. You call for authority, for respect, for justice. We call for freedom and socialism. The whole world is watching you, Kirk, and it's your move. The students at Columbia University ended up protesting for 8 days and completely shutting down the campus for 5 days. The university responded and reacted by changing several of its disciplinary affairs to keep them in order. All of these events led up to President Kirk resigning from the college that August. Mark Rudd went on to Chicago to continue his revolution. Thousands of people across America continued protesting the Vietnam War until well into the 70s when a highly democratic Congress then began cutting off funding for the war. But America is still trying to recover and react from the clashing revolutionary ideas of the younger generation and the disciplinary reactions from the older generation. America will never be the same. And now here I am as a student at Occupy Wall Street, and the students of Columbia live on. The culture divide is still here in America, and we still continue to protest. The ideas and reasons may be different, but it doesn't matter. The spirit is here. And we learn today that our actions change history forever.